All right, now let's get to some quick core email marketing metrics, the things that you should be tracking, and some KPIs that you should be hitting or that we shoot for. Everything's contextual. You can't just take all these. Everything is contextual. So make sure that you consult with experts like us to confirm if this is what makes sense for your store. So these are just like the revenue attribution metrics that we like to shoot for. And again, it depends. So revenue attribution metrics, as far as the metric over here, email percentage of total store revenue. So this is going to be attributed revenue is another way of saying this. The goal is 40%, is you kind of just want to be at 40%. If you get, this is like kind of where we want to be. Around 40% is that sweet spot for email revenue, and then email and SMS. 30 to 50% is healthy generally. Anywhere in there, like you're not messing anything up too hard. If you get over 55%, you're kind of like at 60%, then it's like, okay, we need to scale our acquisition. We're using too much email and SMS, and if we still are having profitability problems, then that's a separate issue. Like our email channel is doing pretty solid. But if we have less than like 30%, then we need to be doing better with our email marketing. We have campaigns versus flows as a metric. So total revenue percentage of our email marketing revenue that comes from campaigns versus flows. We want it to be 40 to 60% each. So 40% campaigns, 60% flows, or 60% campaigns, 40% flows. Usually we want to be in that 60-40 range for both. If you go anything over and you're too reliant on one, you're probably leaving some revenue on the table by the other one not being optimized. Open rates, there are lots of different metrics that you can shoot for. These are really all that matter in my eyes. There's revenue per recipient, there's all sorts of crazy shit, but everything's way too contextual. So this is generally what I do. Open rates are the most important because you can actually really control these, and across every brand we need to be above 50%. This is the only one where it's okay, if you're below 50%, you're fucking something up and you need to fix that. 50%, we need to be above 50% open rates. How do you fix your open rates? It's not your subject line and preview text. It is your segmentation. If you send to the right people, they're going to open your email no matter what your subject line says. So we'll be going over segmentation later on, but open rates we need to be at above 50%. Why do we want above 50%? Because that's going to help our deliverability. If we send emails and Google takes a look at that and we're getting less than 50% opens, then Google says, whoa, this brand sends an email and less than half the people who receive it open it. Probably people don't want to receive this brand's emails. Let's send them to spam. Whereas if it's the other way around and you're above 50%, then they're like, okay, people actually want to receive these. So that's usually the benchmark that we want to be at. Click rates, it's going to vary on many things, on your campaign, on your flow type, list size, all that sort of stuff. In general, 0.5% on campaigns and 2% click rates on flows. Flows are higher converting, and they're more intent based, and so we want those to be higher. But campaigns, even there's I review accounts and they get 1% click rates, and I'm like, okay, I don't feel like that's healthy. I think we should be at XYZ amount. And so it's really hard to say, but if you're anything below these numbers, then I would be concerned. Unsubscribe rates less than 0.3%. That's where we want to be. That should be the other way around. This X, or that thing. We want it to be less than 0.3%. Let me actually fix that right now so you can have that. Just so I don't confuse you. And so less than 0.3%. If you have a lot of unsubscribes, then you do have a content problem and you need to fix your content. If you have higher than, same thing for spam rates. So if your spam complaint rates, we want it to be less than 0.01%. If you have it more than that, then you have a content problem. Potentially a segmentation problem if these are too much, but generally that's where you want to be. Pop-up form submission rate, we want our list growth, our pop-up forms to be converting at around 6 to 12%. If we do a 4 to 6 second time delay trigger, we want at minimum 6%, ideally 10% plus. We have some brands where we're getting 20 to 30% opt-in rates. That's money. That is getting you a shit ton off of your website traffic. We want to be at around 6 to 12% minimum. So those are the core metrics and that we want to be hitting in our account that we are going to be teaching you to review.